the minoritized groups are minoritized because we have the ability to be empathetic. And we don't know how to use those skills. What's up, y'all? Welcome to Random Wednesdays on Gratified Grad, where it's my goal to help you graduate with gratification. Today, we are going to be, as you can see, I'm actually peeling some yams. I'm getting ready to cube some yams. I got some collard greens that I made today. I'm gonna bake these yams and make some cornbread. Might make some black eyed peas. I don't know. I have a bit of a soy allergy, so we're gonna see if I actually make the black eyed peas or not. My brother might be coming over, so if he comes over, he'll eat the black eyed peas. But to get on to the topic of discussion for today, I've been having this conversation in a number of different settings with a number of different groups. I actually just had this conversation today during the Octavia E. Butler conference. If you don't know who Octavia E. Butler is, she is an African-American author, and she writes science fiction. Pretty amazing science fiction at that. So if you have not read any of her books and you like science fiction, I would highly suggest that you read them. So in her book, so recently I read the Parable of the Sower. Parable of the Sower. I don't know why I have ingrained in my head to say Parable of the Sower, but it is Parable of the Sower. And I'm not going to talk in depth about the book. I might do a book review on that another time. But for the sake of this conversation, I just want to put emphasis on her creation of the main character, Lauren, who is what I like to call an empath on steroids. Lauren is an empath to the point of if she sees someone else bleeding, she can start bleeding too. They call people like her sharers, and that's because they literally can share each other's emotions. And they actually make note in saying that slave owners appreciate having sharers as slaves because these slaves, they don't hurt each other because they don't want to hurt themselves. I think the very important thing, and really just the point of this conversation today, is Lauren's ability to recognize that she is a sharer, and that because no one else in her community is a sharer like her, she has to learn to control and hide the fact that she shares the pain of others so that she can fit in her community. And through this ability for her to control and maintain and manage this hypersensitivity or hyper empathy that she has honed her gift. And I personally, through conversations with my therapist, have realized, so I've always known that I am empathic. I just didn't really realize the extent to which I am empathic. And, I, during this time, have really had the ability to take notice to that. Because, at this point, I literally experience only my own energy, right? Like, I am living in my own feelings, and occasionally, with the Zoom calls and stuff like that, I'll come in contact with someone else's energy, but it's not as often as if I was going into lab still. So in lab, you're in spaces and people can always walk up to you. People are always walking by, versus being at home. It's literally just me at home, and I don't have to deal with anyone else's energy or space, or energy or being in my space. And thinking back on it now, I find it so interesting because I've always enjoyed working in lab when nobody else was around. And I couldn't tell you why. I just always chucked it up to I don't want to be around anybody else, and I like being by myself. But realizing that I am a highly sensitive person and I have really high empathy, it's because I just was always dealing with other people's energy, and I didn't want to always deal with other people's energy. And so, um, reading through the parable of the sower, I came to see just how well the main character, Lauren, was able to hone her skill and her gift, honestly, because I would call it a gift, her gift of being able to sense and feel others. And she used that for her and the people around her survival. And I think that far too often today, and when I say we, I'm speaking more to the minoritized groups, we are kind of told and framed that having empathy is not a good thing. So no one, and I'm not saying that people say that you shouldn't be empathetic, right? Empathy and being empathetic is like the thing that people are trying to push onto others. And when I say push onto others, I mean they're trying to educate others on how to be empathetic. And I think that for us as Black people, we are naturally empathetic. Black people and minoritized people, we are naturally empathetic. And one, I think that's just because of the nature of the society that we live in. Not being empathetic as a minority or a person of color can cost you your life, can cost you your job, can cost you your ability to fit in and be a part of society. And so we are raised in a way that teaches us empathy. And, it becomes a natural part of our being. But at the same time, in us being so empathetic, we also are able to experience trauma, and we're able to feel trauma in a different way. And I think that for, coping and being able to keep pushing forward and recognizing that we are in a time where this trauma is going to keep coming, it's going to keep hitting us, the easiest thing is to tell us, don't feel, right? Or tell us that, we have to accept whatever we're experiencing, and we have to push forward. We have to move forward past it. And I think that that is doing a great disservice to the fact that we are empathetic people. I think we need to do more work in honing our empathetic skills and our ability to be empathetic, or honing our empathy skills and our ability to be empathetic through learning more about it. And by learning more about it, I mean figuring out, what are those boundaries that we need to keep around us so that we aren't directly experiencing these traumas, so that we are protecting our energy, so that we are able to still be in community with all people while living in this world where not everyone has the same amount of empathy that we hold within us. I think that if we figure out ways to protect ourselves and ways to live that allow for us to strive, that allow for us to continue to move forward, it will be game-changing, it will be generationally healing, and it will allow us the opportunity to grow leaps and bounds beyond what we think we can grow. And so really the point of this video was just to let you know that having empathy, being empathetic, feeling the energy, the vibes, and the love, And, you know, some of the more unpleasant things is okay. It's a part of life. And we can figure out how to protect ourselves so that the blows do not hit us as hard. I hope this provided a little encouragement, a little hope to someone who may be feeling the vibes and the energy of the world around us and just not understanding why it is impacting them so much. And, you know, get you to start seeking and figuring out, what do you need to do for yourself? How can you change your own surroundings or change how you interact with people so that you are providing a little bit more of a buffer for yourself and for your energy. Hopefully this is another tool that you can add to your toolbox so that you may graduate with gratification. Bye.